Hey there, everybody. Welcome. We are in a study on lesser known people from the Bible. And today we're going to Genesis chapter number 34. And we're actually going to read this whole chapter here this afternoon. And we're going to look at the life of a lady named Dinah. Now, if you know anything about the Genesis account, you know that the first couple of chapters deal with creation and Adam and Eve. And then we see the fall of man and things getting rough. We have the Tower of Babel in there. And then we have the world becoming exceeding wicked. And so God decides to flood the earth. And Noah, of course, builds the ark in order to save his family, humanity in the process, as well as the animal life that God has put on the planet. And then after that, we get to chapter number 11, where Abram, or who we know as Abraham, is going to be mentioned. He is going to be led by God away from his homeland and away from his family and kindred in order for God to start a brand new nation with him. And so there are 12 chapters approximately devoted to Abraham. Then there are two to three chapters devoted to his son Isaac. Then there's another 12 devoted to Jacob, and then 12 more to Joseph. And that's the bulk of the book of Genesis, those patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. Now, Jacob has the 12 sons that are going to form the leaders of the 12 tribes. In fact, they are going to be the 12 tribes of Israel. But Jacob also has some daughters as well. We're told later on in the book that he has 33 kids in total, and one of them is a daughter named Dinah. She was born to him from his first wife, Leah. Jacob had Leah and Rachel as wives early on, and that's a whole nother story there. Maybe Leah should be a lesser known character study as well. But here we're in chapter 34, and we're going to read the story of Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and see what happened to her. Verse number 1. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. Now this is troubling already. Remember what God did. I just mentioned it. He pulled Abraham away from his homeland and from his family because they were idolatrous people who did not believe in the Lord God and did not follow God. So God called Abraham out so that he could have a people that looked to him and trusted him and that he could bless and love and serve. And so here, Dinah, Jacob is living amongst these pagan individuals, and Dinah decides to go out and make friends with the other young ladies from these neighboring peoples. Now, we're to love everyone, and we're to be a light of the gospel unto everyone, but we're not supposed to run with people that are going a different direction than we are. You know, if I love God and you love God and we want to do right together, we can walk together. But if I love God and you hate him, or if I love God and you have your own gods that you want to follow and serve, it's probably in neither of our interests that we start hanging out with each other, because one of us is going to give in to the other. And if we truly believe all that we say we believe, we should probably remain separate so that we don't influence one another negatively. And so Dinah here is influenced negatively by the daughters of the land. And notice what happens when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her. He took her and lay with her and defiled her. So here it is, the prince of the country is named Hamor, and his son is named Shechem. And Shechem sees Dinah, and he begins to lay down the smooth talk and the pickup lines. And long story short, he ends up seducing Dinah, and he sleeps with her. And his soul clave unto Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the damsel, and spake kindly unto the damsel. And Shechem spake unto his wife Hamor, saying, Get me this damsel to wife. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they were come. So Shechem, after he seduces Dinah, he goes to his father and says, hey, I want to marry this girl. I want her to be my wife. The problem is Jacob was not interested in any of his daughters marrying any of the sons of those other peoples. And so he hears what's happened to Dinah, and he doesn't say anything until his sons come home from working that day. Verse 6, and Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out unto Jacob to commune with him. And the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it. And the men were grieved, and they were very wroth, meaning angry, because he had wrought folly in Israel in lying with Jacob's daughter, which thing ought not to be done. See, the Israelites knew God's people don't have any business intermarrying or even dating someone of the world. And Hamor communed with them, saying, the soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter. I pray you give her him to wife. And make ye marriages with us, and give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. And ye shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade ye therein, and get you possessions therein. And Shechem said unto her father and unto her brethren, let me find grace in your eyes, and what ye shall say unto me I will give. Ask me never so much dowry and gift, and I will give according as ye shall say unto me, but give me the damsel to wife. So basically what Hamor and Shechem are saying to Jacob and his sons is this: hey, we don't have to be separate peoples. Let's just break down all these walls of separation. Let's tear down these old, outdated, bigoted ideas, and let's start intermarrying. Let your daughters marry our sons, and our daughters can marry your sons, and you guys don't have to keep trying to sustain yourselves off of the land and trade with us. You can come, and we'll go into business together, and hey, we'll just become one big happy family. Well, that's exactly what God pulled Abraham out of. And this is what the devil is using Hamor and Shechem and Dinah, not that she's at fault here, to do, is pull them right back into it. So the sons of Jacob have an idea. Verse 13, the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father deceitfully, and said, because he had defiled Dinah their sister, and they said unto them, we cannot do this thing to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised, for that were a reproach unto us. Remember, God told Abraham to circumcise his sons as a sign that they belonged to him. So now Jacob's sons are telling Hamor and Shechem, yeah, we're not going to give our daughter to someone who isn't circumcised. But in this, verse 15, will we consent unto you? If ye will be as we be, that every male of you be circumcised, then will we give you our daughters unto you, and we will take your daughters unto us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. But if ye will not hearken unto us to be circumcised, then will we take our daughter, and we will be gone. And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. And the young man deferred not to do the thing, because he had delight in Jacob's daughter, and he was more honorable than all the house of his father. So they come to Hamor and Shechem and say, if you guys want to do this, then your whole village needs to be circumcised. Our God tells us that we're not to intermarry. There's to be this recognition that we belong to him. And so Shechem says, I want Dinah so badly, I'll do whatever it takes to get her. Sign me up for the circumcision. Verse 20, and Hamor and Shechem his son came unto the gate of the city, and communed with the men of their city, saying, these men are peaceable with us, therefore let them dwell in the land, and trade therein. For the land, behold, it is large enough for them, and let us take their daughters to us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only herein will the men consent unto us, for to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us be circumcised as they are circumcised. Shall not their cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs be ours? Only let us consent unto them, and they will dwell with us. And unto Hamor and unto Shechem his son hearkened all that went out of the gate of his city, and every male was circumcised, all that went out of the gate of his city. And so Hamor and Shechem, they go back home to their village, and they sit down with the rulers of the land and the men in the gates and said, hey, we've got a great opportunity here. My son Shechem has been crushing on this Israelite girl named Dinah, and in fact, they've gotten to the point where they want to be married. They've already been with one another in physical, and they said that we can start intermarrying if we'll be circumcised as they are. And think about it, guys, all of their cattle and all of their wealth, that'll be part of ours too. This is a good business decision. So all of the men went ahead and were circumcised. Now, verse 25, notice what happens. Remember earlier in the chapter we said that the sons of Jacob dealt deceitfully with the men. Look what they do. It came to pass on the third day when they were sore, meaning they were still recovering from their circumcision, that two of the sons of Jacob, so two of the 12 tribes, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brethren, took each man his sword and came upon the city boldly and slew all the males. And they slew Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house and went out. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and spoiled the city, because they had defiled their sister. So this is an absolute bloodbath, a revenge that Simeon and Levi take because of their sister Dinah being defiled by Shechem. While those men are still recovering from the circumcision, they go in with swords and they kill all of the men, and then they spoil the entire city. They took their sheep and their oxen and their asses and that which was in the city and that which was in the field, and all their wealth and all their little ones and their wives took they captive, and spoiled even all that was in the house. And Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, so you'd think this would be a proud father here, right? Hey, you defended the honor of your sister. Notice what Jacob says, ye have troubled me, to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites. And I, being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me and slay me. And I shall be destroyed, I and my house. So Jacob has a very unusual response. We're going to see in a second. His sons thought that they should be commended for defending the honor of their sister. And here's what they say. And they said, should he deal with our sister as with an harlot? And so these boys know their sister Dinah deserved better than what Jacob was giving her. She deserved to be defended, and she deserved some respect there. And so that's what they set about to do. But the story isn't about Jacob, and it's not about Shechem or Hamor or the 12 sons of Jacob. It's about Dinah. And here is Dinah, a sweet, maybe we could say naive, innocent girl, but she made a bad mistake. And that mistake was having to see what's going on in the world. I'll tell you what's going on in the world. Nothing good. Nothing good is going on in the secular world. Nothing that would better our lives, nothing that would bring us closer to the Lord, nothing that would bring us closer to each other. The world is full of sin and wickedness and divisiveness and hatred and evil. And God says, come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Lord. The world has nothing that you and I should be curious about or wanting to be involved in. And Dinah made a terrible mistake there in thinking that there was. And the sad thing is she lost her purity in the process. Her brothers killed an entire village full of men. It was quite a disaster. And she made a mistake. I'm not being too heavy-handed here saying, oh, she went off into sin. She did what any of us could have done. And she made a mistake, and she paid dearly for it. All right, that's all that I got for you today. Thanks so much for watching. God bless you. I hope that was a blessing. And we'll be back tomorrow with another lesser-known person from the Bible.